Welcome to our giant, mega, huge spoiler cast for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Post show.
Right.
Oh, wait, no, this is not post show.
No, it's not post show. No, this is an actual spoiler cast, kind of like how we used to do Nintendo Dads After Dark. If you remember those way back in the day when Marvel movies came out, we did a like post show, separate show for those little spoilers, little talk around the table about it. But this time we're excited to kind of revive this because the Super Mario Brothers movie is in theaters. People are watching it as we speak, and each one of the four of us has already seen this movie, and we are super excited to give you our thoughts, the good, the bad, the ugly about this game. I keep saying game about this movie with no holds barred. And so in just a few minutes, we are going to give you kind of a countdown. We're going to say spoilers begin after this. But before we do that, joining me here on the show for the spoiler cast tonight is our usual cast of characters, Justin Masson, Jesse Waldack, and Tim Off. The whole crew of Nintendo Dads is here. Guys, I'm going to ask you a question here in the beginning before we get to the spoilers to kind of set the tone of what we're talking about tonight, okay? It'll kind of give people a read on where we are going into this. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you score this movie?
Oh, you're making me think already?
I am.
I'd say a 9. There's not many movies I've watched that I've had as much fun watching as this one.
Okay.
I do have some issues with a thing here and a thing there, but has there ever been a perfect movie? Who knows? But yeah,
there has. It's called Nacho Libre. Also starring Jack Black.
No comment.
Something there.
Jesse said no comment.
It's not Joe's.
Moving
it's
on.
Mine.
Oh my gosh. Dad joke alert. Okay, so 9 for you. Justin, Tim?
Tim, go ahead.
Oh, that means yours is bad.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say, it's tough because after seeing it a couple days ago, you probably would have asked me that night. I probably would have said 10, but coming down for a couple days, I agree with Jesse. It's a 9. Okay. I would go with the 9.
Okay,
it's going. You have fun. It's high up there probably too because of the nostalgia for Mario and all the things all the elements they put into the movie that you just watch for. And obviously for some of us, that's going to be why you watch it multiple times to see how many things you can catch. But yeah, I agree with Jesse. I think it's a 9.
Okay. I'll go before Justin. I was going to say an 8. I agree with you guys. The word that I keep using is it's fun. There's a lot of fun in the movie. It was an exciting movie. It was very colorful. It was very loud and fun, funny, fast-paced. But there are some flaws with it that I think we'll probably get into as we kind of talk a little bit here. So I think an 8's a good solid number. I almost said 7, but I enjoyed it too much to give it a 7. Justin Masson, let's go ahead and have you bring the room down here. What do you think?
What's your number? When you asked me the number originally, my gut came in at a 6.5.
Okay,
came in at that, but I've sat with it for 3 people. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this: there were moments of 10s, there were moments of 11s, but I felt like it was a steady stream at like a 7.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say that like there's moments of 10s, and I think we can dig into that and get into that because I would agree with you on that statement. I think there's definite times that this movie, when it's firing on all cylinders, right, and it's doing everything that I would say this, when it's doing everything that we expect it to or wanted it to, it's a 10, obviously. all the way. But how many of those moments are through the movie? And we're going to kind of get into some of those.
You guys, I'm submitting my resignation because I didn't realize I was working with a couple of. Never mind. I'm kidding.
I was not.
That's okay. That's okay. Now, Tim, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Even though that I can't score it a 9, and I can see where Justin's coming from with his. I will gladly admit to you, and here on the air, I will gladly admit that there were multiple times in this movie that I teared up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it was the nostalgia. It was nostalgia. And like, I think part of it too is that this movie and Mario in a lot of ways are really intertwined with memories. Like all of my happy memories of Nintendo, like, and up until like the GameCube, up until like the Wii, all of my happy memories of Nintendo have to do with my dad. So there was a little bit last night of, as I watched it, of God, I really wish that he was here, that we could have. I don't know that he really would have cared about it, but like it would have been a big deal for me to see it with him.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just kind of like full circle.
Yeah, and totally, I see where you guys are coming from too. So, and I'm sure we'll be digging into those reasons why you guys have those lower numbers. And maybe who knows? Again, I could be on a high right now, only seeing it once, but we'll get into it.
You're high?
You're just a Nintendo shill. You're gonna eat
I'm
whatever candy they throw at you, and you're not gonna question.
Heck yeah, I am. Give it to me.
And that's the thing is with being on the show, right? I mean, we have to admit that we're unapologetically Nintendo lovers, right? And so,
I don't know, 7.
Justin, you love Nintendo. Hopefully that's why you keep showing up every week.
Keep paying me to be here.
Yeah, weren't you the one who said 11 out of 10?
Because Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey, and it's 11
you
out
get
of 10.
paid.
This movie is not it.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, let's do this. We are going to begin spoiler talk in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now we have firmly crossed over into spoiler territory. So if you have played this episode by accident or it's just running in the background, hopefully you're catching this. Spoilers are coming. We just don't want anybody to come back and accuse us of being like, "Oh, you spoiled it." Well,
yeah,
you're the one.
Do not send me an email. Do not direct tweet me.
Right.
Listen, here's the deal. Listen, hey, can I get a single? Can I get a 1? It's in the title of the show. All right. You've been warned and we talked about it. So if you're like, "Oh my gosh," and no, this is all on you. And we are going to talk, and don't be like, "Oh, maybe it'll be light spoilers." No, we're going like everything unopened, unfiltered spoiler.
Yep.
So don't email me, don't DM me, none of that garbage. Be an adult about this.
All right. So with that being said, let's start with. Yes, Tim.
No, go ahead. I was just
let's start with the overall plot of the movie, and let's talk about how things shake out. Of course, leading up to this, we saw a lot of reviews saying that this was paper thin, were the words I saw described, that there's barely any plot there. If you listen to our episode this week, 421, I argue that this is actually more plot than we've gotten in a long time for Mario. Because as the movie opens, of course, we had already seen kind of the opening scene of the movie. I guess that it was going to be the Penguin Ice Kingdom scene. Bowser is attacking the Ice Kingdom. There's a couple of things that the early teaser trailer didn't show us there. Basically, Bowser comes in, he and his troops wreck the Penguin Kingdom, and he captures their superstar. Well, actually, it's the superstar. We're never actually told whether other kingdoms have superstars or not. And why the Penguin Kingdom had a superstar and other kingdoms didn't. It's kind of that's the Deus ex machina of the movie, right? There's a superstar and Bowser has it, and now he's coming toward the Mushroom Kingdom. From there, we cut to Brooklyn. We run into the Mario Brothers. We see that they are in a pizza place called Punch Out Pizza, which was a very nice touch.
I loved all of the punch out as the camera pulled out from the because they do the commercial first, right? Which we've seen in the trailer, right?
With a little added,
like
the cape Mario that was new, like where they're balancing on the stools, and he and Luigi have the yellow capes. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Just a couple things that I wrote down before we got to that point too is one, just seeing Universal and Nintendo come up on the screen, when it comes up, and that their little Nintendo entrance, with the classic Mario popping up and saying Nintendo. So I thought that was just right from the start there. I was just like, oh, that's cool. And then maybe I wasn't paying attention to it, or maybe it was just like, oh, this is great. When they played that Bowser scene coming into the Penguin Castle area, I don't remember the music for some reason in the trailer, but in the movie, the music stood out. It was the Bowser.
There wasn't. I did go back and watch the teaser. The music wasn't there. It was just quiet.
So in the movie, it's Bowser with his Bowser music from the games. And that right there was just like, oh, yes.
I think if people are wondering which music we're referring to, it's the airship theme. Right?
Oh, yeah, the airship, yes.
It's the airship theme. But and that's one thing. Let's pause right here and say this. The music in this movie is such a highlight.
Yes.
Because it's so well done. And it is a spoiler cast, but without getting too ahead of ourselves, there's not just music from like mainline Mario games here. There's Mario Kart music. There's music from, offshoots. Like, I guess it would be like when I think mainline Mario games, I think 2D Mario games, right? But like there's music from Odyssey. There's music from Galaxy. There's music from Sunshine. There's all like woven throughout the movie.
Even Donkey Kong Country and DK64.
When Donkey Kong first shows up, it's like it has it has the DK rap when he first comes out, but then there's also a time where you like maybe when they're first coming into Kong Land or something.
Yeah, I think they're approaching the gates.
Yeah, and it's like the da 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 da.
This, and I think I said in our show before, like we left the theater and I like instantly went to Apple Music and I was like searching for the soundtrack. I was like, because that was something that even in the trailers, like the music was just hitting so well. And it was so funny because I'd said that to my wife and daughters. We were heading to the show last night. I said, I've seen a lot of trailers on it. I said, one of the things that really I've been admiring is just the music already. And like the orchestra sounds and the songs, but then all you need is like one or two keys. And it sounds very different than coming out of your TV speakers as opposed to like remastered, redone, full orchestra. Right, like it just hits you. You're like, yes, so that was something that was just. So
I wanted to come back to like Punch Out Pizzeria because this was like there's so many not just Mario related, but 8-bit Nintendo games. As that commercial ends and you like pan around the inside of Punch Out, there's like a portrait of Glass Joe. There's bear huggers on the wall. Some people have said that they might have even seen Mike Tyson. I think it's probably not. I mean, they would probably be in trouble for that.
Unless they got permission, of course.
I do want to call out there that in the Punch Out Pizzeria scene there at the very beginning where it's like Mario and Luigi, they've seen their commercial. They're waiting for a call. They want to like go out on their own and have their own business. Charles Martinet is in this scene.
Yes.
And I will say that it's very noticeable where he is, but it was so well done.
Yes.
He is a character who's playing Donkey Kong on an arcade machine.
Yes.
And of course, Jumpman is on the side. He even says the wahoo. It was perfect.
Well, in this area too is where I thought it perfectly addresses what everybody was fearing. Chris Pratt doing the accent. He did the accent in the commercial. And then afterwards they joke about, was that too far? And, he's doing it in a more normal voice. And just them addressing the accents and all that kind of stuff right from the get-go just kind of put you at ease if there's any concerns.
It feels like the casting director, like when they hired him, were like, awesome, cool, great, like he's hot, let's do this. And they're like, all right, Chris, let's hear your Italian. And he's like, it's me, Mario. And it's like, oh God, we've hired him? That is super racist.
It's like we've already made the announcement. He's in.
So okay. How do
But-
Chris, just go with your normal voice.
Can
do
we
Do a Brooklyn. Do a little bit of Brooklyn
thing, and then we'll just do a small bit.
Super Mario.
Yeah.
Let's just pause right here and let's address this. There's been so much back and forth about Chris Pratt voicing Mario. And even the voice cast, I think, like I saw today that John Leguizamo, I guess, probably clawing for some moments of relevancy here.
He's relevant because of John Wick.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, but he said he's not going to go see the Mario movie because they didn't have enough Latin actors. And I was like, John, come on, really? Anyway, let's just talk about this for just a minute. What did you guys think about Chris Pratt's performance? I didn't have a problem with it. In fact, I thought it was actually pretty good.
It didn't take away from the movie for me.
Yeah. Like it never. Yeah, it never pulled me out of it.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, okay. Right. Like I'm going to be honest. I think out of all the voice actors, I don't think he was the worst. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't think he was the worst, but I also don't think he was the best.
Okay.
Right. Like Jack Black stole the show.
Oh,
absolutely. Just ran.
Oh my gosh.
Like every scene he was in, he just ate that scenery. I wish we had more Charlie Day as Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did such a great job. I thought his characterization was great. I thought he really fit the character really well.
Yeah.
At times, sometimes Chris Pratt, I was like, okay, yeah, it's not bad. See, I'll go with it. It's fine. Right. Anna Taylor-Joy, right, who played Princess. I didn't think it was super great. Thought it was okay in the Princess. And then Michael Keegan's Toad, I thought at times began to get a little bit Grady, if I'm being honest. Like I was like, okay, like it's super high pitch all the time, and you're like, and then Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong wasn't bad except for the like the laughing, it's just Seth Rogen. I know, it's just Seth Rogen.
And did you see that? You saw the interview with him leading up to it where he was like, they cast him or they told him they wanted him, and he was like, you guys do realize I don't do voices. Like I don't do voice work. I'm just gonna come in and it's gonna be me.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. But then like his like noticeable laugh. That, like all of a sudden Donkey Kong have. I was like, oh, could we not edit
okay,
that
so
out?
Who is the worst to you? Because
I think I think Anna Taylor's probably the worst.
Really?
Yeah,
for me, it was Fred Armisen.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Cranky Kong did not. It wasn't really.
Cranky Kong is the one character I didn't like with the voicing for.
Yeah, I would actually tend to agree with that.
Yeah, it was. But so here, like at the beginning of the movie, there's so many Easter eggs. So basically, Mario, they're setting it up. You know that he has left his job with Spike, who was part of the Wrecking Crew. He actually has a hat on that says Wrecking Crew.
Who played Spike?
That's a good question because it was somebody because they were.
He leaked that role before everything else got leaked. Announced.
It is Sebastian Maniscalco. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was somebody the name. The GameCube startup music is Luigi's ringtone. Then they go throughout the city because they do get a call. They get their first call. They're going to fix it, where they go to this really posh apartment that has. Y'all, if you're half of the fun in this movie is watching the backgrounds and watching everything around them. There's this really fun sequence where the van won't start and like they're running through the city to get to the thing and Mario
site.
Yeah, they're going through the construction site. There's some Donkey Kong style girders.
And come on, Beastie Boys plays
Yes, No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Come on.
Mario jumps over a fence, slides down a pole in front of a restaurant
Burger
that's
Castle.
Burger Castle Burger.
Well, go back to the beginning of that scene where you saw a bunch of pails and blocks and what's set up. It's 1-1.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I didn't even realize it. That's a great catch. Yeah. So in there that you also see like The Sunshine Travel Agency is in the background. The Duck Hunt dog is there's a restaurant that you see at one point that basically it's French, but the name of the restaurant in French is literally Duck Hunt. Apparently, there's Pikmin in the client's house. There's a vase.
Yeah, I didn't see any
Pikmin. I didn't get that. But there is a dog and so basically what happens is they're fixing the sink. The dog, Luigi steps on the dog's bone. He breaks it. The dog and them get into a fight, which leads to them making a mess in the bathroom. They go home. They're defeated. This is where I thought that we actually got some plot. Mario and Luigi have a family.
Yeah.
Right? There's Papa Mario, there's Mama Mario, there's all that. And actually, I didn't know this, but the voice of Mario's dad was Charles Martinet as well. So he's throughout the movie.
Oh, yeah. I saw his model. I'm like, he looks familiar. Where the hell have I seen that before?
Yeah. Mario.
I realized what it was after watching a Game Explained video. Yeah, it's Talon from Ocarina of Time. Very
strong resemblance.
And one of the uncles is the other brother from Ocarina of Time.
Huh. Okay. Well, nice. Mario's room in their house, he's playing Kid Icarus on a NES. It's very clearly displayed. There's an R-wing on top of the TV. Pauline is the mayor of Brooklyn. And this is where the kind of movie starts to swing. There's a big leak in downtown Brooklyn, and they need someone to come and fix it. And Mario gets this glint in his eye. We can save Brooklyn. And so they go down, they begin to try to fix the leak, and they end up crashing through a wall and finding a green pipe. And that is the start of their adventure. But on the way down there,
apparently there's a sign that says level 1, 2.
Yeah, on the way down, like there's a sign and it says level 1, 2, and the walls are blue. And so this transports them to the Mushroom Kingdom. And really, this is where you kind of start getting an idea of what the movie is going to be about. Mario and Luigi get split up in transit to the Mushroom Kingdom. Luigi gets sucked into the Dark Lands. Mario goes to the Mushroom Kingdom where he meets Toad. They go off to meet the princess because he is separated from his brother, and Toad says, "Hey, I know the princess. The princess can help if he's in the Dark Lands." And we get interspersed with this and Mario's journey to meet Princess Peach. We get some footage of Luigi in the Dark Lands running from dry bones, bats, and all kinds of other things. And he ends up in a castle that is ruined, that is full of Sniffets and Shy Guys, that in a super creepy moment where he's like by himself, and then the thunder or the lightning pops and they're all standing behind him silently.
It was funny it was funny because I was like, oh, this kind of like got dark, right? It did get a little scary with. I love that. I love the shot, like the flash of the lightning or whatever, and then you see the Shy Guys. I would have loved, because I think like he's basically like at a staircase and they're kind of layered on that staircase. I think the one thing that would have been great to add there would have been a boo.
Oh,
like just behind the Shy Guys as well, like just to put a little bit more depth in it. But like that was such a great shot.
Yeah, that whole sequence of Luigi like running through the Darklands, I thought like it really worked. Like one of the things I liked in this movie was that we knew kind of like Luigi's character. He's cowardly, right? He steps up when he has to, but he's a scaredy cat, right? And they play into that, but they actually gave him some action other than I'm scared, because this is just about all we see of Luigi for the entire movie, which was, I would say, is a thumbs down.
That's my down. Right. As I thought first couple things, like I think even in the early interactions with Mario and Luigi, when they're still in Brooklyn, they're at the pizzeria or the shop, the cafe, whatever it is. I found Luigi was more the compelling story, was more the compelling character of the two. And even as they're fixing the place, like his actions, like I thought he was more compelling. I thought Charlie Day's portrayal was great. And so that is kind of my down, is that we do not get as much Luigi as I would have liked for us to see. And I understand that it's the role reversal and he's the one that has to escape or be saved, but I just disappointed. We could have got more of him.
So
Well,
what do you think?
one day we'll get a Luigi's Mansion movie where he's got to save Mario.
Super Mario movie 2, it'll be Luigi saving Mario, following the Cars formula where Mater saves Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for just a minute. What do you guys think about it being Luigi that's in need of rescue in this movie instead of Princess Peach?
I think that's a great. I think it's a great swap. Like I love that. Like Princess Peach in this, and I think just aligns with the idea of like independent, strong. I don't need a man to save me, right? Like, and I think that if they did that, it would have just been the like, hold on, like this is the same trope as 1984 when this game was released,
Right.
Like that's not. So I love the kind of the role reversal, how independent she is, how strong she is. You know, again, father of two daughters watching that, like, yeah, you don't need Mario, you don't need Luigi, you do you, right? Yeah. And so I was happy with that.
Someone has to be the victim here, and if it was anyone else, Mario wouldn't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's a great point. What has to be Mario's motivation to drive? Like he has no pre-established relationship with Princess other than like you're just a person I met. So it has to be Luigi has to be the one who's in trouble.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I mean, he just met her. Why would he care about her? I mean, we start Super Mario Brothers, the game, with the idea that Mario is setting out to save Princess Peach, who's been captured by the King of the Koopas, right? But in 1984, that works. Like or 1988, we're playing that. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. It's a game, but in a modern story like that, what impetus would he have?
Yeah.
Other than Toad shows up, and is like, oh, you got to save the princess, and why would that motivate him? I do love the way that they managed to, as he's making his trek to the castle, work in a ton of Mario stuff that is just really like, it was just some great callbacks. Like there's a scene in the Mushroom Kingdom where somebody's looking at, one of the Toads is looking at Nintendo cartridges. Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, you just got to, in the antique shop, you just got to blow in them. Yeah.
That's a little bit of the problem. That's a little bit of the problem that I had. But,
okay.
But it's a problem that I had, but it's also how great this movie is. And also the smartness of it. This movie is designed for people of all ages to enjoy, right? So if you're just there to watch the movie, awesome, that's a funny line, moving on, right? But then there's like those of us who grew up on it and have 40 years, you're like, oh wait, is that like it's all the Easter eggs, like you're almost distracted because you're looking somewhere else at something else.
Yeah. Well, like every item in that antique shop.
Oh yeah. Like it was funny. Jody had a really good laugh, and I was like, "Sorry, what did you laugh at?" She's like, he just pulled out the cartridges and blew on them. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I totally missed that because I saw something else over there that wasn't even part of the actual story."
And I would say
I was distracted.
That's why I think that's one of the reasons that, besides the fact that it is a short movie to begin with, it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think that's why it feels faster than it is that you're constantly moving your eyes. You're constantly looking for something. Because I went in with having been told, not spoiled, but having been told, there's lots of things to look at here. So keep your eyes open.
Which
right?
shouldn't have been a shock, considering when we saw the trailers and stuff like that. That there's a ton going on there. But like, I felt like I was getting whiplash half the time. I just got to a point. I was like, I just need to focus in on the story because there's too many like other things that are pulling me.
So Mario sneaks into the castle and he eventually meets the princess, who has addressed like a war cabinet of toads.
Also, don't forget, before he gets in there, when he gets to the door to the guards, the princess is another castle thing. Yes.
Yes. I love that. I cackled out loud. Nobody else in the theater laughed. I felt like an idiot. So I just kept eating popcorn.
Oh, I enjoy it when I'm the only person who gets a joke.
Right.
So what I was going to point out was that War Council table, like all the pixelated views of the things, that look so cool. I was like, man, can we get a game with this art style? Like the 3D pixelated type thing of there.
Yeah, I told my son that war table thing that kind of built up from nothing kind of reminded me of something that you could be built in Minecraft.
Yeah, it did. It did. Ironically enough, as you say that, they picked today of all days the day before the Mario movie officially releases, I guess, to announce that Jason Momoa has been cast in a live action Minecraft movie that's coming in 2025. Yeah.
What? I
yeah,
did
I
not
know.
hear this.
That's strange, to say the least. Anyway,
He's going to be Steve.
where I don't know. It didn't say. Here's where I found the I guess the first like big moment that was really jarring to me is that Mario meets Princess Peach, and 5 seconds later they're on a floating platform with her taking him out to training. I'm like, why is this like? There could have been another 30 minutes of movie here where he has to prove himself to be able to prove himself.
That's a little bit of my issue with it, right? And again, it's a kids movie, so I get it. Like, and I don't want to use that as an excuse for everything, but it was like, hey, you need to train to save. Okay, right? Okay, let's go. And you're like, there's like, holy crud, we're 15 minutes in this movie and they're already a training sequence.
Yeah,
right. Like we are
a highly entertaining training sequence, no doubt.
Yeah, like the character connection, the character, it just didn't feel like built. Mm-hmm. Right, like there wasn't like moments of trust where you have to prove yourself. This very much felt like shows or movies have acts, right? Mm-hmm. The introduction of the hero, the villain, the problem. The problem is we need to solve the final conclusion, right? Like that is the act of it. And this felt like very much like, and this is where Act 2 begins, and this is where Act 3 begins. Like
it would have been so clearly like maybe a really a way to do that would have been like, hey, if you really are the hero that you say you are, you really want to go save your brother, I've got a problem out in the garden out back, and like Boom Boom's out there or a Chain Chomp is out there tearing things up. Mario takes care of that, and she's like, okay, well, how about this? And then you go to the training part, right? It would have been a great way to have another villain callback, and maybe like a mini boss moment, quote unquote, midway through the level castle moment. And then you go into the training sequence, which I thought, yes, it was jarring to move from that to that, but the training sequence was really well done. And
I was not jarred.
Okay.
I thought it was perfectly fine.
Okay.
Well, we're all allowed to be wrong, Tim. That's fine.
Yes, I know. It's fine for you guys to be wrong. I was just trying to let the people know that the right person was at least letting them know there was a right person here.
I do want to point out that during this sequence or around this sequence, we actually get a little bit of what could almost be considered a backstory for Princess Peach and how she got to the Mushroom Kingdom. And we see this image or this little segue moment of her in front of the same pipe that Mario came from. And she says, I don't remember how I got here. I just remember that when I woke up, they took care of me and they raised me like one of their own.
That was such a great flashback. I love the, like, she puts her Soothie in the mouth of the, like, so well done. But it made me realize, I was like, I've been playing this game series for nearly 35 years and I never questioned that. I never asked about that.
And when she said, when she saw him, it's another human.
Yeah. Like,
she's self-aware. Like, she knows she's a human. She knows she's different. She's not just an evolved toad.
Yeah. And so then I was like, I want to know more about that. Like, that's interesting. Tell me
that's
about
movie
that
too.
backstory.
I want that. And see, that's why I think that this is Chase a Rabbit, but let me chase it just a minute. Yeah. That's why I think that we don't need to be so worried about whether this movie is thin on plot or whatever you want to call it. This is world building. This is foundational level stuff. Like they've sown seeds throughout this movie of lots of different places and ways this could go for them to actually really explore the lore of Mario Brothers later on, right? You get into that after you've made $1 million billion and you've secured the franchise's place, right? So Mario passes. And they decide, let's go to the Kong Kingdom.
Well, actually, before we go there, as I said, the music, I don't know if I did say it, but I thought, the music soundtrack I think is the best part of this entire experience.
Sure.
And I'm the type of person that if I hear a piece of music that's nostalgic or something I'm really enjoying, I literally get shivers or chills or however you want to describe it. When Peach ran the demo of the training course, and she hits the flag, and it does the da 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 da. Every single time, shivers. I did it during the trailer. I did it during the movie.
Yep.
I did it again. Someone posted the clip in Discord this morning. Every single time, I'm like, that is so good.
I think it speaks to the power that like we're sitting here dissecting this like it's work of art, which in ways it is. I mean, anytime somebody does something creative, it is artwork, right? It's a creative work of art. But I think it speaks to the power that music and visuals have to tell a story without saying things, right? I do want to mention that during this time too, we're kind of getting some cut-ins from Bowser, who is kind of explaining his motive for why he wants to go to the Mushroom Kingdom. And it's not to destroy it. It's that he loves Princess Peach and he would like to marry her.
That's not where I thought this was going to go.
I love like this, those scenes solidified why there was nobody else that could play him other than Jack Black in my mind, because he was able to transition between sappy, lovesick despot to I'm going to kill you. And which he said several times. I was very surprised that was said in the context of a Mario universe product, that I'm going to kill Mario's brother. I'm going to sacrifice all of these people, which we'll get to in a little bit. Like I'm going to, Bowser's vicious, but he also has an extremely soft spot for Princess Peach.
Peach.
Yes.
And I was partially right. I thought this movie had the chance of becoming like a full-blown musical, like Nightmare Before Christmas. I've mentioned this before, based on a majority of the cast had musical backgrounds. Yeah, there was songs. It was only Jack Black.
Can I say I called that?
Yeah, you did. But yeah, so yeah, I was not quite right, but I was close.
It was not what I expected. I was expecting like full blown metal Bowser, like singing something because of it being Jack Black,
but like not, School of Rock.
Yes, yeah. or even Nacho Libre with full on vocals, but getting a tender piano.
We did get the heavy metal Bowser a little bit during the
did. And I'm going to look for this when we go back and see it. But someone said that some of the
Odyssey music.
Some of the Koopa kids were part of the band. Like some of the Koopa were part of the band. I missed that.
Did you see the name of the piano?
No.
Ludwig von Koopa.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So past that, we're now heading toward the Kong Kingdom. There's a little bit of
a quick thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Before we get to Kong Kingdom,
because I'm skipping
in the travel.
I know.
Into the travel, we see a little flashback with baby Luigi and baby Mario.
Yes.
And then we also see them passing a herd of Yoshis.
Yes. I was going to mention that. Yeah. You get a herd of Yoshis. And then we do arrive at the Kong Kingdom after, a couple of interludes there.
And of course, the Bowser song thing too. Yeah.
Bowser song. And basically what we find out is that the main mode of transportation in the Kong Kingdom is cart.
Yes.
And this is where the Mario Kart thing comes in. There's a fun little sequence where a monkey in a sports coat takes them to Cranky Kong.
They were underdressed.
And Cranky Kong refuses to join up with Princess Peach unless his son is defeated in battle. Mario is like, I'll do it. Sure. And that's just the introduction to Donkey Kong and Smash Brothers and lots of other fun things that happen with power-ups. I didn't know we were getting the mini mushroom power-up in this movie.
Blue mushroom, yes.
Yeah, I saw that was a blue mushroom and knew that Mario didn't know what it did yet.
I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen like you
he ate the blue mushroom.
But I have to say that the cat Mario implementation was spot on.
Yes,
it was so good. So Mario gets the bell, I guess it's the bell or the super bell.
Don't forget the audience too. We got
the audience, yeah. There's Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong. Was there another one as well?
There might have been, but those are the two I caught. That
and then Diddy was playing bongos.
Yes. And did he not have a shirt on that said 64 as well?
I don't remember the shirt.
I think somebody called that out. But yeah, either way, Mario beats him with the power of the bell. Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong threw a few barrels.
Yes, he threw the barrels.
Mario caught one and threw it back.
Yes, that was interesting. So yeah, totally fun sequence there. Do you think that this was like a lot of people when they first saw this said, "Oh, Smash Brothers," right? Do you think this was a direct reference to Smash Brothers, or do you think it was?
I thought Donkey Kong. It was a reference to Donkey Kong.
It was more. Yeah, I agree. Especially with the steel girders around, it was more of a Donkey Kong with power ups.
I really wish that we would get a like one-time last-ditch addition to Smash Brothers and get this arena.
I would take that
as DLC
for sure.
But apparently, a lot of of Donkey Kong's. I don't play Smash, so I'm just doing this on hearsay. But a lot of the things he did in the movie are his Smash Brothers moves.
Oh yeah, they were. His is pretty faithful to his moveset.
I'm sure it was a callback to some of that too for Smash,
Justin,
but it made me more think of Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong game.
I want to center in on you for just a minute because I know that you are a huge Donkey Kong fan. This is a brand new design for Donkey Kong. Leading into this movie, a lot more. Donkey Kong in recent years has had a lot more attention and detail put toward his facial expressions in games and things like that. But I just wanted to ask you, like, did you appreciate this? Like, how did this version of Donkey Kong land for you?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I had no quarrels about it, right? I think that you have to make them characters in a different way, right, to fit the universe and the environment that they're building. And so I thought it landed well. Like I said, the challenge, and I think Seth Rogen's voice is fine. I think the little idiosyncrasy laughs that he had with it, I was just like, that became a bit like, oh, I don't like that part of it, but the rest of it, I was 100% fine on. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought that the character was portrayed really well. I liked the kind of the will they, won't they be friends of him and Mario. I think it lent itself well, kind of as a subplot to the movie.
And I know we just came off our last Nintendo dads, but like to the point, like maybe like a buddy team up between Donkey Kong and Mario, right? Game that could be pretty incredible. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I would love to see that. And somebody had asked a question about that, especially as we see, and not to get too far ahead in like kind of the plot, but like at the end, we see that sequence that had been kind of teased in the trailers of Mario and Donkey Kong wrecking shop, right? With Fire Donkey Kong and Super Mario. So Mario and Donkey Kong team up, and basically the only way for them to get back to the Mushroom Kingdom on time with the Kong army is to go via cart on Rainbow Road, which apparently, if we're guessing from that, is just a means of transportation in this area, in this world, because the Mushroom Kingdom is not just the only kingdom. And there's this really fun scene that we've seen some hints of where there's basically a big cart battle on Rainbow Road involving tons of Koopas and tons of Kongs, that winds up with Mario and Donkey Kong basically getting blown up after they, I loved this detail. There's this giant cart that's trying to mash everybody, and Mario and Donkey Kong blow it up. And the Koopa is like, oh, you think you got me? Well, blue shell. And he turns into the blue shell from Mario Kart and blows them up, blows up Rainbow Road. They plunge into the sea below. Mario saves Donkey Kong's life. They get basically get swallowed by the giant eel thing from Mario.
Yes.
And make their escape via a Kong blast barrel, which was a great callback to Donkey Kong Country games. And basically it all winds up with Bowser getting ready to marry Princess Peach. The guests include King Babam and King Boo and Petey Piranha. And she kind of busts out and starts using the ice power up to freeze everybody and take care of everything. Mario comes in, saves his brother. saves everybody.
Tanuki suit.
And King Babam, he blows up. And so Bowser decides to use like his final weapon, which is Bonsai Bill, to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom, which Mario then turns into with the Tanuki suits, misdirects, has it blow up the warp pipe. I still don't understand why he was like, I'm going to send this back to home where it'll blow up. But it ends up blowing up like kind of in the space between New York City and the Mushroom Kingdom. But it ends up, this is kind of where I had a problem with this. It ends up sucking everybody into the real world. And now we're in Brooklyn and Bowser is loose and he wants the superstar, and Mario and Luigi have to team up and fight Bowser in this epic showdown, where kind of the main theme of the movie is reiterated of nothing could hurt us as long as we're together. And that you hear that several times. And so Luigi and Mario get the superstar, you get the classic, invincibility music, and they go to town, kick Bowser's butt, and they're the heroes. And now everybody loves the Super Mario Brothers, right?
Oh,
and
don't forget how they won.
Which was
they spun Bowser around and threw him.
Yeah, I was really hoping that he would say, "So long, you Bowser." Maybe a little too on the nose.
Spun him around by the tail.
Yep. And the end of the movie is them basically like it looks like they're in their house, but they're not. They're in the Mushroom Kingdom and they're leaving for work as plumbers in the Mushroom Kingdom.
And Mario promises Peach a pet turtle.
Yep. Which they do. They shrink Bowser down with help of the mini mushroom and capture him in a jar, which really.
And he sings another song.
Well, I was going to call out the jar. Really looked like the same type of jar that's in Mario 3D World that he captures the Sprixies in.
I didn't think of that, but that
I was like, whoa, sense. that looks similar. So overall, really fun movie, really, really fast paced. I mean, you get from the beginning to end very, really quick. That it goes just about as fast as we described it. And there's 2 end credit scenes. So let's talk about those. Tim already mentioned the first end credit scene, which is what?
Bowser Song 2.
A remix of Peaches.
Yes.
And you find out that he's in a cage in Princess Peach's castle, which is really not safe, right? Probably not a good idea. And
what's going to damage him though? Taking damage undoes the power up, but if it takes a power up to do damage to him, he's probably not going to get damage done on him. I don't know.
Unless
there's a plot hole
in the second movie, unless Yoshi comes running through and knocks him over, and now all of a sudden we've got to go to Dinosaur Lands. There you go. The last final,
speaking of Yoshi,
after credit scene is at the very, very end of the credits, where we kind of go back down into the sewers where the green pipe was, and we see through the steam and through the gloom, we see a dinosaur egg, a familiar white egg with green spots, and it cracks open and we hear Yoshi, and that's it. We don't even see him. So that's it. Super Mario Brothers movie. Let's talk about this now that we've kind of just the breadth of it. Like, what worked for you? What didn't? What did you love? What else? Like anything else that just stuck out to you?
Couple things. The whole Donkey Kong and Mario being swallowed by the eel had no value or relevance in like that scene did not need to occur in any way. It didn't add anything really that couldn't have been done in like a slight monologue or a slight conversation, right? What it did was it had them come together, but it was like, oh, I hate you. Oh, look at this. Now I can use a barrel to get out. Right. Which was like a callback to like Donkey Kong Countries and using the barrel. And then it was out. And it was kind of like that happened in like 30 seconds. Like you probably could like it just felt weird and out of place. I'm going to go back and say that Luma star. right? Like every line that was delivered, right? Sweet release of death, right? Like every
Yes. Love it.
I just want that all the time because that is amazing and fun. Yeah, so I think there was just it kind of felt like at times the pace slowed down of like we need to fill time, and then all of a sudden like, oh, now we need to go. Right now we need to speed through this really quick. Like, so the pacing felt off at times. Yeah. So those were a couple of my thoughts there, at least.
Okay. Anybody else?
Like during the cart sequence, near the end, there was some like double dash references where Mario would end up hopping on the back of DK's rig, and Toad hopped on the back of Peach's bike before the whole blue shell thing happened.
Yes, I thought so. I thought that same thing too. I thought that was pretty cool. For me, I'll point out the reason why it wasn't a 10 for me is because of what you guys said at the end with the big Bob-omb, or not Bob-omb, Bullet Bill going through the pipe and then sucking in everything to Brooklyn. Was like that brief moment where my brain was colliding with the movie. It's a movie type of thing. It still was like, well, but why would Mario make it do that? Or something like that.
I'm interested in seeing what the pitch meeting guy does with this.
Yeah, it's like, why would he do that? And then also, why does it come back to like the whole? I started thinking the Marvel thing, like the superheroes are ruining the city, because during the fight and all that kind of stuff. So Bowser's Island, floating, whatever that you want to call it, it's huge. How much of Brooklyn did that thing just take out?
Yeah, and it's now there permanently. Like they killed Bowser, like they blew him up or whatever.
Maybe that's
him.
why they're back in the Mushroom Kingdom, because Earth sent them away because they were like, you just brought that here. Yeah, you saved us, but you brought it here.
I felt like that was.
That's the part I was having a little problem with.
They could have had that defeat of Bowser happen in the Mushroom Kingdom. And the implications of that is, we've always played Mario games kind of like believing like Mario got sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom with like no way home, kind of like, really? At least that's always the perspective I've had. It's like, oh, he used to be a plumber in Brooklyn, and then we found that they fell down the pipe, and now I'm in this place, and I don't know how to get back. But now, can he just go back to Brooklyn anytime?
Seems like it.
Why doesn't Peach go back to Brooklyn? Why don't the Toads go to Brooklyn?
They didn't know it was on the other side.
In the next, and then there's just other things like I get that like it's a suspension of belief.
Yeah, it's that whole suspension of belief thing, right?
Nobody in that whole crowd questioned a giant turtle, a giant talking monkey wearing a necktie. None of that. They didn't question any of it. They were just like, "Hey, it's the Super Mario Brothers! Yay!" And that was it. Yep. Kind of feels like they got to a certain point and they were like, oh my God, we've got to release this movie. What are we going to do here? Oh, I know. We'll just do this, this, and this, and this. And somebody went, great, animate it.
Right. No, yeah. Again, it came back to after seeing that, my mind started going down that route. I was just like, you know what? I got to let it go, suspend disbelief, and just enjoy it for what it is. So that's
right.
So that's but the rest of it, I can't necessarily pinpoint like what did it for me, but it probably, like you said, the music, right? Just my brain was triggered so many times through there with the music.
It does such a great job reaching across and like hitting all those nostalgia buttons that you want and all those things, right? So you're like, yes, oh my gosh, like here's the thing. The entire time I'm watching it, I'm smiling. I'm having a great time, right? And I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
And like I don't want to blink because there's so many cool things going on, and I'm watching, and my wife is laughing at things, and my kids are having a laugh. Like I'm like, this is a perfect evening out and the movie theater. I'm awesome. This is exactly what I want. But like if we begin to begin to really dissect it, you're like, there are just some things that are just a little bit not quite right. But again, I want to remind you, this is the company that made Despicable Me. right? Like, so we cannot be expecting like the Lion King or I don't know, Wall-E or any of that. There are still important stories or important messages to be said here.
We're not doing
like,
Pixar stuff here.
Yeah, but like let's not be believing like it's some high line theater or that we're going to take away a message
Highbrow.
of change. Yeah, highbrow theater is going to change our life, right? It's Mario. The games didn't have a hard story either, right? So let's get over ourselves and have a bit of fun. But I just still think there were just some opportunities to have made better. But like I when it comes out, I can't wait to watch it again and check out all the Easter eggs. And yeah, great.
I want to watch all the making ofs and documentaries all around this.
Justin, on that note, like you just said, like we I guess know right what we were going to get when we came in there. Do you think that some of the critics, do you feel like a lot of the criticism was, I won't say unfounded, but you get what I'm getting at? Was it
warranted?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference between like a critic score and like a Rotten Tomato score, right? Because I think critics look for something different. Right, it's story, pacing, this and that, and the average audience person like us is like, I had fun, it made me smile, right? Which is all it needs to do, right? Again, this is the company that made Despicable Me and the Minions, right? Like,
well, it's the company. That's the two companies too. Mm-hmm. It's the company who made the Despicable Me movies, and then you got Nintendo, and it's all about making it a family party.
And I don't know if it's the fact that we're like literally weeks off of The Last of Us, which is a video game IP that has blown up, that has caught the world on fire, and that you're like, wow, this is compelling, amazing storytelling that pulls at the human emotion, right? And you're like, yes, and that's what I want for Mario. You are not getting that from Mario, right? Like that is a very different audience and a very different type of game and a very different design ethos. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if maybe that's playing some juxtaposition, but I mean, I think we've also been in a time recently where we've had solid video game adaptation movies. And so you can look at Sonic 1 and 2, I thought did really quite well, Detective Pikachu, like video game movies and IPs for the most part having a bit of a renaissance. But Mario is as Mickey Mouse as you can get, right? Yes. And so that's sort of the target audience. That's sort of what you
by design, like literally,
exactly by design. But here's what it did incredibly well, right? And this is the business Justin part of it. By the end of it, who all wanted to go home and play some Mario Kart? Who wanted to go play some extra Mario levels?
Even Matthew said that he wants to play something. He doesn't know what, he just wants to play something.
Oh yeah. Like I feel like if some way you take like the Mario soundtrack and run it backwards, it's Shigeru Miyamoto being all you hear like backwards audio is like, go play some Mario. Mario Kart 9 is your favorite. Go play some Mario. Like there's like that's exactly what it's supposed to do. And then like, by the way, if you go to the eShop right now, what does it say? There's a sale on Mario games and the Mario movie is across the top banner. Like this is cross-media promotion. Like it was funny, Jody sitting beside me, and just before the movie started, they did a trailer for Switch games, right? And she's like, "Oh, a commercial before the movie," and I was like, "The entire movie's a commercial, 90-minute commercial for Nintendo."
It's right? The Wizard all over again.
Yeah, this is exactly it, right? And so
this is way better than the Wizard.
So it did exactly what it needs to do, and from a business perspective, it did that thing. It made us as 40-year-old plus who grew up with it, love it, and want to bring our children there. Also, 1 second, can I get a single shot one on this, please? Cineplex Odeon here in Lethbridge. If you're going to tell me that you have the Super Mario deal, where you get a question block with popcorn in it, and you get keychains, and you get a cup, and that's what I want, and you don't have on opening night the block, shame on you. Are you kidding me? Like that was I was
we don't even get that stuff down here.
I was gobsmacked. Like I was like, they're like, we don't have the block. We don't have it. What? What? How do you not have it? But nonetheless, I digress. I got my collector's cups. It's fine. But they know what they're doing, right? And
I got this.
Did you? Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Oh, dude, that is sweet.
That is awesome. They gave me a tin of Reese's peanut butter cup one, and I was like, this is not what I want instead. I was like, this is stupid. So Cineplex Odeon, if you're listening to me right now, you know what to do. Make it right. Send me one of those things. The question block ones. They did exactly what they needed to do. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it.
I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes, and as of now, the tomato meter, which is the critic version rating, is at 54%.
Yeah.
The audience
is like 96, right?
96.
Yeah.
And so, what other movie came out yesterday?
I don't know what other movie.
Air, the Nike movie.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's got scores of 94 and 98. So
yeah.
So we know what the critics like.
On Metacritic, the average score for critics is 47, and the average user score is 8.75. So still pretty good. And that's with 307. This is the user. 357 positive reviews, 30 mixed, and 25 negative. So I would say this. No, go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry.
I was going to say what I am super interested in now is now what? Right? Now, and maybe let's wait till Monday. Maybe let's wait until the box office has full 5 days. But if you're looking at the early projections, if you're reading what's going on in social media, if you're walking into these movie theaters, now what? Nintendo has become a company in the last several years is becoming much more comfortable with using their IP in different locations. In our previous episode, Tim showed me a Mario Princess Peach
Lush soap,
and so they're becoming more comfortable with their IP being used different ways. Universal Park has their IPs. The movie is out there. These are all cross-promotional things. Now what?
Can I ask a question?
How quickly is the Mario 2 movie greenlit? How quickly is, by the way, we have a Legend of Zelda show coming to Netflix. By the way, how quickly is there a Metroid gritty thing coming to Apple TV or whatever it is? What is Nintendo now doing? Because, by the way, you definitely know, which you should have known before, but you definitely now know, for a company that's so conservative, you're making a shit ton of money now off of this, and you can monetize the bejeebus out of this, right? What are you going to do? And you can see how it worked, and you can see, I don't know. Now what?
So can I ask a question about this? And I specifically have you in mind, Justin, as we think about this. So I would say from your summation of the movie, you're not underwhelmed. You're not overwhelmed. You're just whelmed.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask this. Does this make you more or less excited for the possibility that we could get a Zelda movie from the same team? Because I think that Miyamoto has already said we will certainly continue to work together as a team.
So here's the thing I'm going to say. I would say, yes, I would love to see a Zelda movie adaptation. Doesn't need to be from the folks that did like Illumination Studios. I don't know if that's the right fit, right? I also don't really know if I want to hear Link speak, right? There's a lot of different juxtapositions in there, right? I don't. To be honest with you,
Princess.
Yeah, if I was going to say what would be an IP that I would instantly say you need to do a movie or a show or something, I'm gonna sorry, it's got to go straight to Metroid, right? You've got any kind of frame for that, right? To use. I think that's the right genre. I think if you're going to give Illumination another game or movie, I think you give them a Donkey Kong spinoff. I think you give them something like in the world of Pikmin. I think you do another Mario. But I think if we're talking mid-tier, gritty, teenage, maybe a little bit more different brand, I'm going over to. I'm going. You know what I want? I want a Metroid from HBO Max. That's what I want. right? I want Zelda maybe from HBO as well, right?
I would do Zelda with HBO Max because of the other show they did.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, thank you. But the Metroid one, I was saying the same team that did the Castlevania series on Netflix,
Yeah.
I think would be great to do.
Sorry,
Metroid.
animation would be a great idea as well, as opposed to like a So I think I'm very interested to see what happens here, but it's gonna be like I mean, if someone's like, hey, do you want to go to see the movie again with me? Okay, yeah, I'll go for sure. And at one point, like, we bought our 4 tickets. God bless my wife. She's like, we're gonna go on opening night. I know you really want to go. We went at 9:15. The kids were knackered, but then the kids had homework, and they're like, well, maybe it will just be you and I going, and then you can take the kids on Saturday, right? So it was like, oh, so I'm seeing this twice in 3 days, okay. But like, yeah, if someone's like, you want to go see it,
I am. Why not?
I'll go see it with you again,
right.
Sure, right?
I would be totally down to see this
I
again.
enjoyed it, but it was not like blowing my hair back of like, this is the best thing in the world.
I think that we kind of miss the point of that for every end game, right? There's a handful or more popcorn flicks that are out there, right? That are just fun to watch. There's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason. They're just fun. I really think that Nintendo created this movie with Illumination and was like, oh, we're gonna submit this for your consideration next year at the Academy. No, they know.
And they were not like, let's
like it comes in
Mario
like
multiverse.
a red envelope with like white spots on it, you know.
Yes.
And you open it up and it's like Toad's voice for your consideration.
And as soon as they open up the envelope, here we go, vote for me.
No, it'll just be a plain white envelope that has the Smash seal on the back.
Nice. Oh, brilliant. But I mean, you're right. That is exactly it. This is a popcorn movie. This is exactly what, and it's fun. It smiles and fun, and it's great. I will say this: I stayed for the first Easter egg afterwards. Well, first again, let's go back to the Luma playing jazz sax. Like,
yeah, that was good.
Honestly,
I wasn't sure about that one.
I love that, and then the mid trailer with another Peaches song, brilliant. I did not stay for the Yoshi one. We were kind of like, it was 11 o'clock, getting tired of looking at this thing. I was like, I'm sorry, it's just an egg that shakes. If you wanted a hype post trailer scene, we talked about it before. You needed to like all of a sudden have something that is not in the Mario universe. You needed to all of a sudden have like I don't know, something in the background, like a black, and then it just like shimmers and you look across and it's the Master Sword. Right. And that's what you needed. This was like, yeah, it was a Yoshi. Huh.
Yeah.
It didn't set anything up. It wasn't like, oh my God, the next one is all Yoshi based. Nope.
I was hoping that like we would get like a pipe and then like you'd hear wow, you know, and like a green shoe would come down like into a puddle of water or something like in Wario, you know. Because here's the deal. This is a crazy part about this, right? So who is Wario like in this universe? Because I mean, who is Wario? So like I'm thinking, is he part of Mario's extended family in Brooklyn? He gets sucked into the pipe by accident and he goes and like takes over part of the Mushroom Kingdom and like it's Mario's 6 golden coins. He has a castle now and he's like, you know, and now it's Mario versus Mario.
They did mention that there are multiple universes in this world.
Lots of galaxies, right?
So there could be like an opposite world where Wario is the opposite of Mario. And, you know, while Luigi is the opposite of Luigi, so in another world. So that could be a storyline. We still, again, all other galaxies, so you still have the possibility of Rosalina.
I think Rosalina is a foregone conclusion with Luma being there, right?
True, yes.
Well, but I mean, like that's like that is exactly. So there's some like I don't know. There's just some things that like you left hanging there. Right, like I would love to have seen a lot more
It leaves it open for whoever's going to
Yes.
write the next story to
You could have like Luigi's Mansion references. You could have had Luma or Rosalina show up in some way. Where's Daisy? Right?
Well,
like there's
that's
so
what
many...
I'm glad they didn't do. They didn't cram everything in there. So it leaves room for the next movie.
Yeah,
and maybe they had left some things out that they said, yes, we can't cram everything in there, but let's leave it for the second movie.
Yeah.
You know, so
like they could have just opened up the big old bucket of power-ups and just poured them all in there, right? Like you get a frog suit and you get a Tanuki suit, you get a hammer suit, and you get this, and here's the cape and everything. People are flying all over the place, and the fireballs and ice things are flying everywhere.
And there wasn't any squirrel suits.
The other thing is, because of the multiple universes, is it because of, are they going to just multiple universes within the Mario universe, or is it multiple universes in the Nintendo universe? So although we don't, we would like to see other areas do like a Metroid, a Zelda, and all that kind of stuff. Is it still a possibility for Illumination to do multiple universes where, because of that, they could touch on a Toon Link type environment, or a Metroid that's a little lighthearted or something? I don't know, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, guys, in conclusion here, you want to throw anything else out about this movie? I think we covered it pretty well. We
want to see it again and ready to buy it when it comes out. That's
I did. I'm probably going to. I am going to pre-order the soundtrack once it's available. It isn't available yet. It does say it doesn't release until Q3.
That's nuts to me. It's right there. It's right there. That also tells you how long this movie is planning to stay in theaters, by the way, because I bet you the DVD's not coming out until then either.
Amazon's got it released right now as a May 4th tentative hold date for their DVD. Hey,
really?
Yeah.
Did they add that? Because when I did my Amazon pre-order, there was no date listed.
I saw that in some articles reading today, but it may have just been a pre-hold.
Well, May 4th sounds really soon. That's less than that's 4 weeks. I remember when it used to be 3 years between theatrical and VHS releases. Because they needed to get that HBO and Showtime release in there first.
If you have Spotify, you can play the Super Mario Brothers movie original motion picture soundtrack.
On Spotify?
On Spotify.
Really?
I'm going to look right now because I looked last night on the way home from the theater and it wasn't there.
The Super Mario Brothers
Bros movie original motion picture soundtrack. I can link it in our
Oh, and we still have that voicemail too.
Oh yeah, I should probably do that.
Let's play that.
Right. All right, here we go.
Hey Nintendo Dads, it is Christian, and let me tell you, it is a great day today. Why? Because my family and I saw the Mario movie, and man oh man, amazing, fantastic, it's awesome. We all dressed up as our characters. I was Mario. My wife was Princess Peach. I got Toadette. And I also got a Koopa Troopa. And we were just all in there. And it was amazing. Oh, my goodness. Ah! Anyway, sorry, I got a little excited. But I just want to let you know. The movie was awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, too. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day.
And see, that right there tells you who this movie's for.
Yeah.
Family, go out, get your family, go out and have a great weekend watching the Mario movie. I can't wait to my son, like he found out. I was trying not to tell him that I was going to see it last night, but he found out. He's like, I knew that's what you were doing. And I was like, dude, we've got to talk about this tomorrow on the show. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. And so the first thing this morning, like I got to the office before he woke up and he was like, he texted me as soon as he got up. So he's like, so how was it? And I was like, dude, you're going to lose your mind. It's going to be awesome. And the cool part about it is he's going to be around all of his best friends watching this together. That's what this movie's for. It's not trying to win any awards. It's just they're trying to make people happy. Right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how we need to look at it. And let's go enjoy it. Let's go watch it again. It's going to be, I'm ready for Monday morning's box office total. Like I want to see what we're sitting at.
Right. especially with everybody who's like us going to see it early in the beginning of it showing in the 5 days. Just, yes, we have our moments where we're down about it, but overall we're gushing that, that people need to go see this movie.
Yeah.
And we spread that word of mouth, and more people are going to try to go see it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
But I will say this. My family is older, I have teenagers and stuff like that. And I know I'm more of a Nintendo fan than most of my family. I asked my daughter, who's a senior in high school now, I asked her if she wanted to go see it. And she said, no, I can wait. So she doesn't want to see it. I asked my wife if she wanted to go see it. And she said, no, I can wait. So they both want to wait till we can watch it at home. Sammy, on the other hand, of course, you heard him. He's ready to go see it. So, so we're going to go see it. We're going to take my mom with us. So I will get to see it again. Sounds like, Friday night by the time everybody's listening to this. So, but yeah, I will see it again and see what I missed.
Yeah.
My wife said just literally, she just said, I highly recommend it. All right, there you go. Perfect. It's good enough for me. She probably would have just liked some more Dr. Mario references. That's what was missing.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe they're saving that for part 2. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up this spoiler cast for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Want to thank you for joining us for this. This is not something we get to do very often, but we hope that we thoroughly discussed it for you and didn't spoil anything. Hopefully you are maybe going to go for your second watch after this to catch something that you may have missed. But we'd love to hear your experience with the Mario movie this weekend. Maybe did you take your family? Did you go by yourself? How did you see it? What did you think? So hit us up on our social media and check that out. For me, for Justin, for Jesse, and Tim, we will see you next time. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.